Hey guys, welcome to Deep Dive Haunts. We are on episode 13. Tonight we are reviewing the Sanctum of Souls. Um, we will get into that in just a minute. Hold on. I have to tag somebody. I don't remember how to spell his name. Oh, that sucks. Um, Derek wanted to be tagged in it. Um,
The video?
actually, Yeah, actually, I am just gonna send the video. I'm just gonna send the video to him, and then he can hop on. But
Okay.
anyway, we hi out there. We are gonna talk about that tonight. Um, Couple things before we get started. We are just off of a paranormal investigation from last night, and
Mm.
so we're on,
Yeah,
we're a little on the tired side, but we're gonna
yeah.
get through this. Tim and I were the only ones on this investigation. We had a really fun time. Um, we will talk more about that in just a moment. The video has just dropped on YouTube about this investigation. So everything we're going to talk about tonight is out on YouTube as we speak. So you guys can go out there and watch it and get in on that part of it. This Wednesday, April 1st, we got Spooky Bro 316 on the show. He's going to do an April Fool's podcast. He picked the day, so we don't even know what he's got in store for that, but I'm sure it's going to be a great episode. And then Sunday is actually Easter. So instead of doing a Sunday night live, we are going to do it on Saturday night. We will have Matthew from Nightmare Explorers on the show. I did a podcast with him a couple weeks ago, waiting for him to tell me when that airs so we can get it out. Um, but he's going to be on. He is actually super. He's a super good person to chat with. We've been talking about doing collabs. It's just not ever worked out between us and him, our team and his team. But hopefully we get there soon. Um, so that will be good. Our investigation last night was at McPike Mansion. We did go live. I used a black light. It didn't give as much light as I was hoping it would. So we'll
Mm.
have to revamp that, but you guys can check out that video on there. Also, Misty has been doing up some rocks for us. They have our name on them, how to reach us on the back. It actually says, um, like if you find the rock, take a pic, tag us in it. Feel free to move it to a different location if you want. If you do move it, please send us a picture so we can send it to Sharon so she knows where the rock is at all times. If you wish to put it back in the same place you found it, that's awesome too. But tag us in it. Let us know if you find our rock. We will be doing that at investigations. So anytime you guys hit up a location where we've been, make sure you check it out and look for the rock. It could be in the house. It could be like in the basement. It could be outside. It could be anywhere. So make sure you guys are looking for the rock. It's just a fun little thing to help us connect with other teams out there.
Mhm.
Um, so that is actually pretty cool. I'm going to let Tim talk for a minute so I can get this shared out and get Derek and some other people on the live, but I'll let him chat for a few minutes while I'm doing it.
So, Sanctum of the Souls. So, he's in Buffalo, Iowa, believe it or not, at a Lutheran church. I had a little bit of difficulty with this one because I'm an ordained minister, a church being haunted. A little strange to me. I don't. Uh, so, I had a little difficulty trying to understand how a church could be haunted due to that fact. But then I learned that it all takes all walks of people to be in an active church, and it takes all walks of people to come to a church that's abandoned and go in and do whatever they think may be, um, as far as that goes. So the investigation started out very well. We went to a lot of, there's an old part of the church and it's been added on like three times. So it's quite a big building in a respect. The original church was built as a Lutheran church. It's a small two row pew church with a um, what do I want to say? At the end of it's where they can't think of what the word I'm trying to use. Anyway, so it's a two-room small church and it had another room added to it to the side for like a gathering place. And then later a kitchen was added. bathrooms are added. There was a place for the minister to get dressed and undressed, places like that, dressing rooms. And then it was added on to again an office space, storage space. Then it was added to a third time in a handicap area for wheelchairs and access to get back into the back of the church. Another kitchen was added. There was a daycare center for children to be there, and there was a room for um, Sunday school. And then on the backside, that was a huge gathering room for eating, gathering, whatever event might be going on with the church. So it had a lot of space to it. It was long and narrow. So when we got there, we went into the whole entire church. We got a tour from, what was his name? I don't remember now. Derek, we got a tour, and he gave us a tour of the church and told us some of the hot spots and what was going on. So we tried to figure out how this could be happening in the church. As far as that goes, we went through a lot of it, a lot of the church trying to figure out, just walking through it, trying to get a feel for it and everything. We started out in the old main church in the in the 2 row pew area, trying to do some investigation. It was very quiet in there. Oh yes, and I should tell you, we were allowed to ring the bell one time to try to gather parishioners to come to the church and let you know that we were there and it was open. So that was a pretty cool thing to do. Believe me, when you're pulling that bell, be ready. It's a little it's a task. It's a difficult task pulling on that bell. So
I
anyway,
laugh.
we went. Yeah, I grunted a little bit. I'll be honest, it was a little tough. So we went through that part of it. We continued through the rest of the church, trying to get into this area, the newer areas. Went into the big office space. Went into the daycare center, I guess you call it, the children's room that was full of toys. We set up equipment. We set up security cameras for them in the building in different areas that we thought may be advantageous to what we were doing. And those type of things we went on. And then we started our investigation. God, I said we went to the old part of the church first, the original part. It was very quiet, very serene. It wasn't really active. We had a bell. We got dead bells. The dead bells rang a couple times. We asked questions, but that was all about all the response that we got from there. We moved back to the dressing area where there's an area that where cloaks were kept and stuff for the preachers and everything that were there, ministers, whatever the denomination is. And we tried to do a little EVPs in there, and we did get something in the first dressing room. Brenda and I went to. We sat down trying to go through it and actually started asking questions, and we got a response. We got an actual someone spoke to us in that room, which is one of the areas that our tour guide told us we would get a response out of it. So that was really cool. That was a cool thing to happen because we're actually getting some validation and feedback from our tour guide that he had been in the room several times and got responses in there. It wasn't very quick. It wasn't very loud. It was about 2 sentences. So I don't know if Brenda has that ready to
I
play.
do, but actually, that was in the office.
Oh, I thought it was in that room in the
I thought it
dressing
was too, but when I went back and I rewatched the video, it was actually in the office,
room. Oh,
and it was when you were
okay.
doing a dowsing rod session. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I do have it. Hi, Misty. Hi, Patriot Paranormal. Hello, everybody. Say hi in the comments. But yeah, I'll play it for you guys. If you can't hear it, use headphones. Um, but we had sat down at the table. Tim had dowsing rods. We thought we would do a little bit of a different experiment. And he's sitting there. And as we were getting started, I turned the camera on, and this is what we got.
I think I can get it in. I think I can get it in. I think I can get it in.
So that noise is me moving my camera. So it starts talking, and then I move in my camera, and then it's like finishing. Might still be the whole sentence. We don't know, or two different parts of the sentence. But you guys can let us know what you think it might say. We pretty much have it figured out. But like when I was watching the video, like it was just right there, like not on an EVP machine. It was just right there, and kind of loud. You know, I mean, to be noticeable that quick. So, yeah, that was cool.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it's going to take me a minute to catch up. Like Brenda said, we was out last night investigating raw. We drove 7 hours home today, so we're getting a little tired.
Yeah.
So
a little bit more to expand on what Tim was saying about Sanctum of Souls. This is off their Facebook page. It went from the small building that it was into an 1,840-foot square building as of today. And when the new owner bought it, there was strange things happening that he couldn't explain. So he had asked Eternal Paranormal to come in, and they had went in, ended up becoming the caretakers, and decided to open up the building for paranormal overnight investigations. And although the church was active for us during the night, more active than what you would think it would be for a church, they unfortunately had to close their doors, so they aren't doing any more investigations, which kind of sucks because the whole team wanted to go back. But it is what it is. They have to do what's best for them. A few lucky ones were able to investigate there, including Nick Simons and Kalani the Ghost Hunter. So that was cool. A few people got to go in there and investigate. A couple of celebs, and then, you know, like us. And I'm sure there were a few other ones that did too. I think Jenny Davis was in there. And then there was a few that are said to haunt there. One is Edith Mack. She was a Sunday school teacher. And the other one was Frank. He was actually the first one that came through on a spirit box session that those guys had done. So that was cool. So unfortunately, if you were planning on going to the Sanctum of Souls, you're not going to be able to go. Iowa does have another church, though. I dropped it on the location drops the other day, so you can go hunt for that. But yeah, so as he said, we were in the sanctuary for a while. We didn't get a whole lot. It was actually pretty quiet. I decided to play a song, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, like a song that is usually played like when they're passing the plate. That it was that kind of song. And it was playing. And as it was playing, the dead bell dings once. And we were like, oh, cool, you know, thank you very much. And I let it play for a little while longer. And one of us had asked, you know, do you like the song that's being played? And then there was another ding that came in, which, you know, that was pretty cool. But that was about all we got in there. Really, pretty much throughout the whole night. The sanctuary was really quiet, except for the shadow figure that we caught. Let me get that over here so I can actually play that. It is on our video as well. It's towards the end of the video, but it is on there. And we were doing a walkthrough with the SLS, and in the sanctuary, I'm panning around, and this figure appears on the ceiling. And, you know, we're looking, there's no lights, no ceiling fans, no nothing that it could be mapping. And it kind of ends up looking like it's dancing just a little bit. So that was actually really cool. I did send it to Alicia, who posted it out on the page. So it's on that page as well. You can still get to that page and see that it's there. But it was really cool. It lasted, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. And then it kind of like dropped down. And then it like mapped into the podium, and then it disappeared. Thanks. Alicia is watching, and she shared it out to all her platforms. Thank you so much. She's just not commenting come comment on the live for us. Um, but that was a really cool experience. We did have another SLS experience. Um, Unfortunately, the SLS doesn't record, so I'm like, take out your phone, take out your phone. Like, we got to record. Like, we got to get this evidence. Um, so the other the other figure that it mapped out, we didn't get because we heard noises and he was down the hall from me, where we were at. But the SLS, I learned how to use it that night, and that was actually pretty cool. Um, so we will go from there into the office. We were actually getting quite a bit of stuff in the office. I'll let you start talking about that while I'm looking for this piece of evidence to pop on here. Oh, I just found it. Yay.
So the office area is it's a big open room, and it's full of got computers and couple tables and stuff like that in it. That we did get some response in there. We were starting hearing noises. I saw shadows out in the hallway. There's a little stand right outside the door in the hallway that you can walk from one end of the building to the other. And then beside that stand, I kept seeing a shadow pop up and down, back and forth, back and forth. I finally got up and went out to see if I could find it, and it wasn't no longer there, but it was appearing. We so it's interesting because there's a hole in the wall back there, and we don't know why, and we never did figure that out. We never got any response or anything out of that, but it was interesting. There's this hole at the base of the floor, and our tour guide didn't even know about it. We were getting some actual interesting stuff going on in there. We was getting activity in the hallway. I believe we got more than one response out of there as far as that goes. K2 meter hits went off a few times in that room as well. I'm trying to think what else happened.
You were seeing shadow figures in the hallway.
Shadow figures in the hallway. Yep, I by that little stand out there. Yep, I saw them quite a bit. Kept darting back and forth. Another thing the tour guide told us about, we would see shadow figures in that hallway. That was another claim that they had. Now, realize where we was at is in the middle of the building, so it's an in between of the old building building on to the new, adding the square footage to it, as we talked about before. That happened quite a bit. We never did. I don't think we ever caught the shadow figures even on our cam, even on our.
I didn't.
Yeah, did you? You catch one?
Nope. Nope, I
Okay,
didn't. Oh, I can't upload it. It's telling me it's an invalid type. But
okay.
yeah, I
So
did
we never
not.
did. Okay,
No, I didn't.
all right. But we
Did not.
did. They were there. I did see them, but we didn't even get them on a security camera. We had one facing that hallway most of the night, and we didn't even see it with that. So that was an interesting thing to have happen, as far as that goes. So
Yeah, and we heard there was a little office off to our left, and we kept hearing um,
mhm,
noises and stuff happening in there. Um,
correct.
on our app, we were informed to um, take pictures. So I took pictures,
Mhm,
and we always take in groups of 3. And so I took this, and this is in session. Photo 1 is this one, photo 2 and photo 3. This area right here is actually pretty interesting. We don't really know 100% if it's paranormal, but it's not in the other 2 shots. So we're not saying yes or no, but it's interesting. You guys can let us know what you think about it. But it was pretty cool. For the longest time, I thought I caught a shadow on my video, so I'm like watching and watching, and wasn't finding it. And then I looked at the pictures, and I'm like, oh, it was a picture. It wasn't actually on a video.
mhm,
So you can let us know what you think about this. It's pretty interesting. I find it compelling because when we were at Fairfield, I have a photo that's similar to that one, but that same kind of streak is going across the carpet of the floor, not in the doorway. But you guys take a look at that, see what you think. Um, we're trying to throw it out like lens flare, whatever it like. Yeah, I don't know. You guys let us know what you think about it.
mhm.
But it was pretty cool. Yeah, we did hear Lots of noises and stuff when we were in there, though.
Yep.
Oh, when we were in there, we did actually map out something on SLS. We're looking over there. It's the wall. There wasn't
Hmm.
like a stand, there wasn't
Right.
a chair, there wasn't anything, but there was something standing along the back wall, which is the same wall that the little hole was uncovered.
Mhm.
Um, and it was there fairly quick. I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds, and it
Mhm.
was there fairly quick, and then it left. But there was nothing for it to map out. Then um, Tim actually got up and went out in the hallway a few times,
Good.
going after the shadows because it was just crazy activity on the shadows out there.
It wasn't very tall, but it just kept popping, looking at me, looking back, looking at me, looking back, like it was trying to figure out what we were doing in the room. So it was curious.
Right. Yeah. 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 So then we move over to the nursery slash
Mhm.
young toddlers Sunday school
Mhm.
room, something or other.
Mhm.
And that room had a vibe all of its own, like all
Right.
of its. We were sitting in there, and there's two big picture windows on the back side that has a ramp behind, like a handicap ramp behind it. And we were both sitting with our back to one of the big picture windows, but it just felt like we were being watched. We were told we were being watched. The walls were closing
Mhm.
in. We kept seeing
Mhm.
shadows in the hallway. The hallway across the
Right.
room from us would get super dark. We would hear clanks and bangs.
Yep.
um, Tim saw a couple of things out the door. I'll let him talk about um,
Yeah. So
that
this
room.
this room was probably the most interesting room at the time we were in there. So imagine you're sitting in this room now. Behind us are two big picture windows, and those picture windows are where the handicap ramp is, back and forth. And it was designed to be that way so people could go out there and they could see their kids inside the big windows. That's what it was designed to be. On the outside of that was just a doorway that entered the room, and there was a closet door. There was a Christmas tree in the room. There was all kinds of toys scattered around. We set up a security camera facing out toward the doorway and the little hallway coming back in. We were sitting there, Brenda and I was sitting in the room. The door was open and the hallway was open. I saw a shadow come down the hallway. We heard it walk and we heard his footsteps walking toward us in that room. And all of a sudden, a shadow appears on the door outside. So there's another picture window that goes outside. So I was wondering if get reflections from outside, was that causing it because the wind was blowing, that type of thing. And that was the only time that it ever showed. No matter what the trees moved and all, the only time that shadow moved on that door is when we heard the footsteps and we actually saw it appear. It stood there for a little bit. We wondered if it was a guy Frank, and Frank has a big history there. He was an elder. He'd been in the church for an umpteen years. He was a big member of the community as far as that goes, and there's a big history on him as well. They think the theory is they think that Frank is actually in this church. He stays in this church, and he's still there to this day. We didn't know if it was for sure, but we heard him. We heard the footsteps. We heard noises and bangs, and I saw the shadow on the wall. It was real quick and went away. And across from that is where the Sunday school room is, where Edith, who the lady that was there was a Sunday school teacher, was there. She was the same way. She was there for 40 some years and big member of the church as well. But that happened. Now, the other thing that happened, that room or security cam, security cameras, they record all the time. And when they see motion, your security camera little M will pop up and it'll show motion. So we were sitting at home base watching, and the security camera kept showing motion, and we could see the light. We could see a light kind of move toward the camera and cause it to go into motion. And it did it like 8 or 9 times. It kept going motion and motion. So we finally got up and went back in the room. I checked the camera, checked the lens to see if a bug had gotten on it and crawled around. There was no bug on it whatsoever. But when we stepped into that room to check that camera, on the outside of the room where the handicap ramp is, there were two really loud bangs on the wall. I mean, they were loud. enough to get your attention to walk over to the window to see if someone was on the ramp out there to look. I didn't see anything out there. I didn't notice it as far as that goes, but I can't explain what the motion was on the camera. It never stepped in far in front enough, or whatever it was, never came into view of the security camera, but it's on the same side as the windows are. So I don't know if something was outside the window causing reflection for the camera to think there was motion moving or something happening. That was probably the most, that was so interesting because it's hard to catch motion on them cameras unless you walk in front of it and the motion goes on. So we could not explain what was causing that motion to happen or what was happening. There was nothing in the room moving. No toys moved, no table moved, nothing out of the ordinary was misplaced. We never saw anything do it. So my suspicion is something was moving the light out there and it was enough movement, or it was inside far enough to make movement and cause it to go to it. So I reviewed that footage and I still can't find what was causing that camera to go to motion. So that was the most interesting thing. We tried to debunk that. We tried to figure it out and could not. So
Yeah, we were at base
Frank?
camp and I looked and I was like,
Yeah.
Tim, there's something happening with that camera. And so we sat there and we watched it. Like we were just watching it and it would catch the motion. Yeah, several times. And it did that several times before we even went and looked. And then I think even after we went and looked and came back, it did it a couple more times.
Yeah.
It was just, it was weird.
We could not figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we went back to base camp on our app, we kept getting warned. And this was only in like the back of the church where the tables were where you set up and ate meals, like back by the kitchen area. Every time we were back there, we would get told, like, beware of the witch, witchcraft, there's a witch, to like, and we were like, we don't understand what this even is. And I'm sitting there at the table. I don't know, I was charging something, and Tim goes to take a step. And just as he takes a step, we hear a female voice.
Yeah.
And we don't know if they said hi or hello, because it was really quick. And the floor back there was squeaky. Now, don't discredit, because we really did actually hear it. We just don't know exactly what was said. Right. We had asked if it was Edith that had come through to say something to us, and we didn't get a response. But when we did the dowsing rods experience, I was doing one back there in that room, and I had asked if the female voice we heard was Edith, and the dowsing rods did cross for yes. So that was interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that dowsing rod session for the moment, because I kind of want to back up and start with Tim's dowsing rod session and kind of go into that and then go into ours. This might be a very quick episode, guys, because we're going through this evidence way faster than what we normally. Maybe because it's
we don't have two or three other people talking too. So
yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's just because it's him and I talking tonight, but it's okay because, like I said, the video dropped. It's out there. It's insane. So everything we're talking about, and probably in greater detail, is on that video. So, and that's on YouTube. But so Tim's like, let's do something different. Let's go out of the box. He takes out his dowsing rods. We go over into the Sunday school room, and I'm trying to get positioned where you can see the rods if they move. And I kind of had to move a couple of times. And right when he's getting ready to get started, he's like, I hear footsteps, which I didn't hear, but he heard them. Unfortunately, they're not on our videos, or on my videos anyway. But then he went ahead and he started, and I'll let him talk about the questions that he asked and the responses he got while doing that part of it.
Okay. And so I did it. Like I said, we started hearing, when I started, I could hear footsteps out in the hallway beside us coming toward us. I thought it was out in the hallway. So I asked, so we were trying to talk to see if we could talk to Edith, who was a Sunday school teacher that was there, because we were curious to know if she was still in the building, if she still was around, because she was a big member of this church and a prominent member. And she taught Sunday school for a long, long time. So we're trying to see if it was there. And we were kind of told by the tour guide that she would get the kids all in a circle around the tables or try to get them to pay attention to Sunday school, try to gather them up and get some coordination going. So I got my dowsing rods out and I asked the first question. I asked, was Edith here? What that type of stuff. The first time I asked a question, they crossed and they opened back up. And I thought, okay, we're talking to someone that's in the church, or we're talking to Edith possibly, who was here. I asked several more questions in that area at that time and didn't get a lot of response from that. I don't know if it just wasn't wanting to relate to me as far as that was, or whatever was there had left the room, and just come back to see what it was and only got the one response. He stayed in there. I asked, I don't know, 10 or 12 more questions and never really got an answer back or a response back from my dowsing rods of any way there was. It was rather quiet for me to do that for as far as that experience goes. And then we went down to the office, like Brenda said, and we were doing dowsing rods down there, trying to get some responses throughout some of the rest of the church to see if something would happen. So for me, it was just a one time, hey, I'm here I am, as far as that goes type thing. I did ask about the witch and stuff, I believe, while I was asking about that.
Mhm.
And
That's
I
when they
didn't get any more
crossed.
responses. Yeah, I didn't get any
Yep. No,
responses.
that's when they crossed, is when you asked about the witch.
Witch, yeah. And
That
so
was
that
time.
that was the end of it. That was all that I got. So who I was
Mhm.
talking to, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And
But later
Alicia reached.
on, we
Oh, go
did
ahead.
dowsing rod sessions that Brenda did, and then things got interesting.
Yeah. So Alicia had reached out the next day and she said, "How did you guys' investigation go?" And I was like, "Oh, it was really cool." I'm like, "Have you guys had anybody tell you about a witch?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "I can send you screenshots like of
Mhm.
all of this stuff of being warned about a witch." And I said, and it was only in that back part of the church. We even asked in other rooms of the church
Mhm.
and no response whatsoever. It was only in the
Good.
back. Yeah, when we went in the office, we got that clip that I played for you earlier. I'll just go ahead and do it again in case you're just popping on.
I can get it if it. They cross. I think I can get it if they cross.
It sounds something similar to like, I think I can even get them to cross, maybe, or something
Mhm.
like that. Although we really didn't get a response
Mhm.
with the dowsing rods in there. Up in the sanctuary, they were straight the whole time. There was
Good.
nothing. Um, so then I decided back there I would take my dowsing rods out and um, do see what I could do with them. And um, my dowsing rods kind of had a mind of their own. And a couple of points, you'll see me. I'm like, okay, whatever, whatever you want to do, figure it out. But when I actually got them honed in and figuring out what to do, I said, "Is there a witch here?" They crossed for yes. Um, I straightened them. They straightened back out. Hello, Jeff. Welcome, welcome, welcome. He is the paranormal goat from Ohio. Thank you so much for joining. Um,
Right.
and so I said, "Which direction?" Or I said, "Point to where the witch is." And right beside me to my right was double doors that went outside, and they both swung back to the right. And they stayed there.
Mhm.
I had to actually like shake them and, kind of like break that to bring them back forward. And they would swing back around again, kind of had a mind of their own. I finally got them straightened out. So then I was asking questions. I said, um, you know, "Is this Frank?" Cross for yes, and they would stay straight. I go, "Is this Edith?" We got a lot of names. We got and like Roger and Violet and like a lot of names. And I was asking several names in a row. and the dowsing rods would stay straight the entire time, not even fluctuate or anything. And I said, was the voice we heard Edith? And it crossed. And I said, okay, cool, thank you. And, like straighten back up. And then I said, should we be worried about the witch? And they actually stayed straight. They didn't cross anymore after that. But it was like a 9-minute section of video, maybe even longer than that. During that, towards the beginning, I think, don't hold me to it, I think in the video I had asked, could you point in the direction of the witch or something? And this actually came through on my video camera, not the EVPs, but on the video camera. And I'm going to let you guys listen to it, and you can tell us in the comments what you think it is. Might need your headphones because it's kind of distant. Thank you. Keep going. Thank you. Keep going. Thank you. Okay. So mind you, the whole time that I'm in my dowsing rod session, that's the only time that noise is heard. And it wasn't the wind, because if there was the wind, you would have heard it throughout the night on all of our videos, and we weren't picking it up. So it was the one and only time that happened. And it was when I was asking about the witch. To me, it sounds like a scream. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. But you guys let us know what you think it might be. Maybe they were just saying, like, no, or, maybe it was something like that. But it was really interesting that, again, my camera that was sitting on the table across from me was actually what picked it up. And it sounds very distant, which, a couple other cool little pieces. But after that, we dug out the SLS. We had a little bit of time left before the end of our night. Hi, Derek. We had a little bit of time left before that was done. And so, like I said, we had dug out the SLS camera. We're walking down the hallway, not really mapping out anything. Caught the one in the office. We go over and we go down the hall into where that changing room was that we talked about earlier, and didn't find anything in there. Went to the room behind it, didn't find anything in there. And I'm like at the end of the hallway at that point, and I turn around and up the hallway a little bit. Thank you, Derek. Is a doorway to the left into another little room. Well, we had heard a noise, a thump or a bang. So Tim went on down the hallway to see if he could figure out where that noise was coming from. And while he's down there, right to my left in that doorway is a stick figure. It's there, and it's as tall as the doorway. Who it is, I don't know. I'm like, Tim, it's like right here. It's right here. And so by the time he came back down the hallway, it was gone. No recording, because I'm holding this heavy camera, and I don't have anything. I don't know. I got to fix me a thingamabobber to hook on my shoulder or something. I don't know. Gotcha. Oh no, it's all good. Welcome, Alicia. But yeah, just to record on that. But it was there, and it was as tall as that doorway. And I don't know, them doorways are probably like 6 foot tall, but it was the whole length of the doorway, and it was the whole width of the doorway. It was big. And I was just like, that is so cool. Like the SLSs amazed me. So that was cool. And then, we went on into the sanctuary and we found that one in there. Unfortunately, I don't have it in the right. It's an MP3.4. It's not wanting to upload to this, so I can't do it, but it's on the video. It's on that page. Like I said, you can still get to the Sanctum of Souls page. It is still there. The video is on there as well. They asked if they could share it. I gave them permission. So it's just actually really a cool. It was a really cool experience. It was a a lot more interaction than what
Good.
I thought it would be, especially for a church. And I think Tim can
Mm.
agree to that. Um,
Yes.
and it seemed like the back half was more active than the front half
Yeah.
for
The
us.
sanctuary, yeah, the sanctuary was really, really quiet. So,
It
and
was
Brenda,
very,
yeah,
hang on a second, it was very cold in spots in the
it
sanctuary.
was
Like,
cold.
I mean, like almost see your breath cold, and the heat was on.
Yeah.
Mind you, it was like 60
Mm.
degrees or whatever. But I mean, like you hit certain spots in that sanctuary, and you were engulfed in goosebumps. I mean, it was cold. It was very
Mm.
cold. Other than
Good.
that, yeah, it was pretty peaceful in the sanctuary part of it,
Good.
which in all actuality should be. That's how a sanctuary should be. But yeah, so go ahead, say what you were going to
Good.
say.
I was going to say, yeah, so the sanctuary was very quiet. For us, it was very quiet. And I think when I heard the noise and I went down the hallway to see what it was, I think it was a distraction for me to go that way because then it appeared down to where Brenda was. So I think it was trying to get me away from where she was at. So it appeared there and I couldn't get back there in time. That SLS, I think I can program. I'll get it to where it can record. So from now on, we do that. We'll get it working. I think I can go in and program it to record. So I'm going to work on getting that done. As far as that
Yeah.
goes, yeah, the whole overall experience, like I said when I first started out, I'm an ordained minister, so a church being haunted was a little bit for me to try to get in my thoughts of why a church would be haunted. Um, I assume that once the worship is gone in the church and it's abandoned or left, that vibe, you guess you could call it, a spirit of people being there leaves because it's no longer active and it turns into a building. As
Yep.
far as that goes, and so it could happen. We didn't really see where the building might have been broken into. There was no destruction. It didn't look like anybody had been in there and done any damage or try to destroy it or like homeless people or anything was like that. There was nothing in the church that looked that way. It was just an empty building,
Mhm.
as far as that goes. The activity there, is it residual? Very possibly could be because of the people that were involved with the church were very prominent and very dedicated to the church as far as that was to that particular church and the community. So there's a very good chance that's what we were experiencing. I wish we could have got more evidence. I wish we could have figured out more what was making the motion camera go off, more on the voices that we heard. But the thing that got me the most was Brenda even tried to research after we left about the witch type of thing.
Mhm.
If there was something in the woods behind it. So a little bit of history of Buffalo, and I'll let her talk more about it. Buffalo, Iowa is actually the hometown of Buffalo Bill Cody, we come to find out. We didn't know that to begin with. That's where he's actually from. As far as I go, he grew up there and so forth. That was an interesting observation to learn. Um, is there something that was outside the church in the woods? Is there elemental? Is there something of that nature that was causing us to get why we were had speaking to or the subject of the witch was coming up? That was we never did quite figure that out. I wish we could go back and try to look further into that to see if we could figure out why that was happening to us at the time and why we were getting those responses. I don't think we talked to anybody else who's been there, except for the owners
No.
on what they may have got or what
Yeah,
understanding they could
no,
have. So,
I really don't. I mean, Derek was the only one that we had talked to, which had been the only other person um, at that point that had
mhm,
investigated it. Other people were there, but you know what I mean. Um,
correct.
yeah, it was weird. I didn't find a lot about it. There is, I don't know, some weird thing about pumpkin heads, which is
Mhm,
some people with misshapen heads, something. I don't
correct,
even remember what all it was about. But like, if
correct,
you went out on a certain road, I don't even know where it was at, around that area somewhere.
correct.
you went out on a certain road and you ran into them, you would come up missing. I don't know. It was really weird. And it was really, really late. But yeah, it was interesting because there's a Buffalo Bill museum over in LeClaire
Mhm.
that another team is hosting a ghost hunt for. But he actually is from Buffalo, Iowa,
Iowa,
which
yeah,
is really, really cool. But
yeah,
Derek said they love to make noises, and they did. Like we heard footsteps, we heard bang, we
yeah,
heard pretty much everything in there that you could
correct,
think of. Sad to
correct.
see it close down. We're going to a church in Columbus City. Yes, that was the other church I was talking to in
Correct,
the beginning. It is called Museum of Soul or Museum of Lost Souls.
correct.
So there is another church. We are thinking about checking that out as well.
Mhm.
Alicia, that's Derek's wife. We will miss the spirits there in the building for sure. There will be an episode of Sanctum of Souls on Stream Beacon TV coming up soon. You guys, if you guys haven't, I'm not promoting for them. We don't get paid for that. But if you're wanting to see some paranormal shows that have recently been canceled that are still airing, Dave Schrader, Cindy Kaza, they're on there. It's like $6 a month. That's not very expensive. But so yeah, we'll have to be watching that. We received word, the word elemental on a polterscript. So maybe that has something to do with the witch hunt here.
Mhm.
When Kalani the ghost hunter was there, they heard a little voice in the chapel
Mhm.
part. What was the other thing that happened in that nursery room with the Christmas tree with Kalani, his little robot thing or something?
Mm.
You said something happened with that as well. Hootie Puckers, thank you for joining us. I love that name. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I I like that name. That name is that's
Mm.
pretty fun. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to flip that in, Derek, I don't remember what you said. Something he has a little robot-y thing
Yeah,
or something like that. Um,
yeah, the
unfortunately,
robot moved or something, yeah.
yeah. We are since that church closed, we are thinking about or we are wanting to go check out the Museum of Lost Souls because that would be cool.
Correct.
Who knew? Who knew churches could be haunted?
Yep,
Um, Robot would keep going to the Christmas tree.
that
Yeah,
was
it would
it.
just take off and
Yeah.
it would just take off on its own and start walking towards the Christmas tree. Yeah. Yeah. So it it was interesting. Derek and you guys just popped on. Um when we started this live video, our video actually dropped on YouTube at the same time. So the episode of our investigation is actually out there live right now. So anybody that wants to go watch it when we're done, feel free, let us know.
Mm.
Um, I will put our link in the comments so you guys can do that. Basically, the robot kept running to the tree in something that was under it. Yeah,
Mm.
interesting,
Good.
interesting things. Um, I do know at one point, I think you said while we were sitting in there, um, that you had saw like a foot
Yes,
and a head
yes, yes,
come around the doorway a little bit.
yes. Yeah, whatever shadow came up from the hallway in front of that door, and we were in there and heard them footsteps. Yeah, it was starting to manifest in that hallway in front of that door. Whatever was there with enough energy to start being visual. And so we talking about the robot near the Christmas tree getting under that security camera we had was right next to that Christmas tree, and that's where we kept getting the motion. It was right beside that Christmas tree. So
Yeah,
I wonder if the tree has something to do with it, or is there something around that tree that
maybe,
makes that
maybe.
happen? Because that security camera, that motion went off several times, and we never did figure out what it was, why it was doing it. So
I'll get back to the comments in a moment because some more are popping in. But I did want to talk about. I did do an Estes method in that nursery room.
yep,
While I was in there under doing the Estes method, Tim's REM pod kept doing temperature fluctuation changes.
correct.
he had to get up and shut it, reset it like 3 or 4 times.
Correct.
I do remember a female coming through. The name was Edith, and then there was a Catherine. I don't know if Catherine had anything. Tim, I'll let you talk about it because I know you were asking questions while I was under.
Correct. Well, we were trying to still get questions of who was there, Edith or Frank. You know, we were still trying to figure out who was in the building, and that was the people that. Well, I was trying to ask questions of the people that we knew was the most prominent or would be, because we thought that's who was there, at trying to get a response. Edith, and so that's when that Estes method, when activity started getting even more ramped up. But that room seemed to be the most, out of all the rooms in the church, that room where the kids are seemed to be the most prominent with actually evidence and getting noises and bangs and just activity period was in that room. Edith Mack, Derry said Edith Mack, that was the lady that was there. So we tried to communicate with her and Frank quite a bit throughout the night to see if we could get responses back and forth and see what was going on. There was an incident. One other one that I'm trying to think of, Brenda went into the bathroom and shut the door, and the door opened, and I was in the kitchen and I saw the door open and I thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, it just didn't get closed. It swung open. Come to find out, Brenda came out and she said, "Did you open that door?" I go, "No." She goes, "I shut that door." And she knows she shut it and latched it. And that door opened. That door literally opened toward the bathroom. So our tour guide, we were going through, saw that same bathroom, saw the stall door move on its own in that women's bathroom. So I forgot that had happened. We'd have a camera. Of course, we don't have a camera in the bathroom.
I was going to the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear bam, and I'm like, okay, let me finish. Like I was kind of frozen there for a second. But yeah, when I was under the Estes, Tim was like, Edith came through, and he kept trying to talk to Edith, and she responded a few times. And then Catherine's name came through, and then something happened. He had asked a question, and I got a mail that came through, and it was not nice. It's on the video. I'm not going to say it here, but it wasn't nice. And he's like, I'm not even trying to be that way. Like, I'm just trying to talk, but it was somebody totally different. Yeah, that bathroom door popped open on me, and because it doesn't shut all the way and latches. Like it kind of, like goes in, like it swelled a little bit. But I had it closed, and that thing just popped open, and I'm like, hello?
It opened very quickly. It did.
I'm like, and I come out and I'm like, did you do that? And he goes, no. He goes, I saw it do it. And I'm like, I didn't do it.
I just thought it opened. I just thought it swung open, didn't close. Okay.
Nope. Yeah, it popped. It was like boom. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I had a few things thrown at us as well. Yeah. I don't even, yeah. I'd asked if somebody was there to make a noise or approved that there was something there. Something was thrown down the hallway. Never did find out what it was. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, the door opened. He went in and he like looked in the back stall, and he came to the front stall, and he looked at me and he looked back and he goes, it moved.
Yeah, it moved. So.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, the stall door is moving.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So we don't put cameras in bathrooms. So
no. It was, that was crazy that it just was like boom. And I'm just like,
there was a lot of activity in that church for no longer than we were there. I mean, it was very active in there, very, very active, which was really interesting to the point of, okay, it's a church. What's going on? I mean, I did get to ring the bell though. The cool thing.
It was, I don't know, like it was, I don't know. It kind of fascinates me to do more churches because, because as he
Yeah.
was saying, like once religion is no longer in there, it kind of becomes desecrated and is no longer like
Correct.
a holy place. Um,
Correct.
so it's just interesting to see what would end up, you know, like coming out of that. Scott and I were in the chapel, and Kyra Marie Lang was under Estes, and at one point that light went straight towards her.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. So I am so sad that they decided to go a different direction because
Mhm.
we would have went back,
Oh yeah,
um, you know,
definitely.
but you know, they had to do what they felt was best for them,
Sure.
and it was awesome. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put our website in this because it's saved on my phone. I will put our YouTube page in the comments coming in right now. Um, so you guys can go follow us if you're not. We had a couple of voices that we were talking to come through that had set purgatory. I asked if they were in purgatory, and it came back the direct answer of yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I actually have my own theories about purgatory, and I'm not going to get into it because this is not the time or the place. Um, but I have an interesting theory about it. So if anybody ever wants to really talk about it, you can reach out to me like a messenger, and I'll talk to you. Um, because it's just I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying what my theory is correct by any means because I am
Mm.
no expert in the matter at all. I'm like, what if? Like what if this is the way it is? So
Mhm.
we were all thankful for you guys coming out when you could. It was definitely an awesome experience. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
It
It
was
was.
great.
Thank you.
I
It
mean,
was.
it was great.
Great. It was.
We
It
got
was.
there. We got there, and so the only reason why the two of us went is because originally um, Tim thought it was a small church, and he's like, we don't need that many people. Plus, we went during the week, and it's hard for some people to get off work. But
Good.
he's like, we don't need that many people in a church at one time. And then I'm like, but it's big. And so when we got there, he's like, I didn't think it was this big.
Yeah.
But I mean, it worked out for the two of us just to be in there. I don't know. Maybe if you had like 4 or 5 in there, it may not have actually gotten as much interaction, or maybe there would have
Sure.
been more.
Well, we just had to go two at a time to the building, so we didn't carry over
right.
contamination because there would have been a lot of echo in there. So
Or if 2 were in the nursery and 2 were in the sanctuary, maybe it would have sparked up something. Who knows?
it
Yeah,
could
the
have.
whole video on your phone recorded, never been posted to the arc. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Um, Derek, okay, Derek, I say this with the utmost respect. You get scared super easy. I don't think it's very hard I think you could walk up behind him and go boo, and I think he would jump. And I mean that in the most lightheartedest way ever. You're a really awesome guy.
Yeah.
Can't wait to meet up with you guys again. Um, but he just he yeah, he's very very in there. Like he's kind of skittish, and it's funny.
Hmm.
He's like true. Yeah, yeah. Tim filled him in on a little bit of something that happened to him on another investigation somewhere else. And
Hmm.
when he told him about it, he was like, yeah, no, nope. He's
Yeah.
like, nope, nope, ain't
He had
doing that.
chill. He had chill. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The night that object was thrown, he ran out.
Hmm.
Everybody handles the paranormal different, for
Sure.
real. Um, I hope one day you kind of get over that and you don't run. One, you don't want to get hurt while you're doing it, but two, to be able to be like, hey, this
Yeah.
happened. This was really cool, and
Yeah.
not be scared to run out. So yeah. So yeah, maybe that's something that everybody can work on with you is to try to get you a little bit more of Like when he goes to run, grab him and make him stay type of thing. Like, no,
Possible.
like, check this out.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, our our YouTube page is in the comments, so you guys can go give us a follow over there. We do have these post live, our podcast post live out to Facebook and YouTube. And then any other videos that I get put together from investigations will go out there as well. I don't run with stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You should have been in that nursery, Derek, when those two bangs happened that were really loud. I mean,
Yeah.
we
That
were
was
like,
loud.
whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought
whoa.
somebody was standing on that ramp beating on the wall. I really did. It was that loud.
Yeah, it was really loud. Oh, look, it's the guy. I don't always, but when I do, I don't always run. I don't run all the time, only when it's necessary.
Yes, sir.
That is funny. So anyway, you guys,
It.
that is it. This is the last episode of Deep Dive Haunts for now. We are caught up with our past investigations. The next one we will be doing is our investigation from last night at McPike. We have to get together and figure it out because me being super over ambitious to get people on the Deep Dive podcast have booked Sundays and Wednesdays. So now we got to figure out a different night to do the Deep Dive haunts because those are booked up through the end of June. Because I didn't think about that when I was booking them. I was just getting people booked. So they will come randomly, maybe on a Friday night or a Saturday night or something like that when we're not out on an investigation. But be looking for those. The next one will be McPike Mansion from last night. Again, this next Wednesday, we got Spooky Bro 316 going to be in the house. And then on April 4th, Saturday, we're going to have Matthew from Nightmare Explorers. He will be in the house as well. Those are both going to be really good podcasts. Make sure you guys come. Check out questions. Derek and Eternal Paranormal, they will be on here. They will be on the Deep Dive podcast coming up in May, at the end of May. We were going to do Sanctum of Souls, but that was not able to happen now. So now we put Derek's team in instead. That'll be a good, that will be a good time as well. He was responding to that place was amazing. And he missed it. Yeah, it was good. I really wished that they would have been able to stay open at least a year because I know a lot of people were wanting to go. But, you know, as I said, they had to do what they had to do. So anyway, we'll be back Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time with Nate from Spooky Bro 316. We will see you guys then. Thank you. Have a good one.